Hello, hard yarners. Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good chat about AC/DC. Not the band. Yeah, not the band, but Australian Centre for Disease Control Act and a few things and other things. But before we speak about what we spoke about, this episode is brought to you by alltradescover.com.au. If you can see behind our wonderful guests there, Chloe, their logo. If you are a sole trader specifically, I think they're probably the best ones that could reach out. But if you're a big business or a medium-sized business, still reach out. If you're in the trades, reach out because they are going to be able to give you some good coverage. Most of them have been a tradie in the past, so they understand the things you deal with on site and in the workplace. But also, if they haven't been, they've been in the industry long enough to understand the pitfalls that you fall into. So they're going to be able to help you. They're great people. They support us. I think they've been with us for over 3 years now.
They are. Shout out to Tim and Rusky doing the good work.
Yeah.
They look after you.
They're very good. Yeah, he's and also Tim is also part of the World Camel Handball team now.
Oh, he got roped in too,
He
did
went
he?
over. So good on them. But thank you so much. Get around them. Tell them Hard Yarn sent you. Also, this episode is brought to you by Crafted Finance. If you need a mortgage, business loan, car loan, whatever, they're going to be able to help you. So please hit them up. The best thing about them is they're like-minded. They're supportive. They're very like-minded for what we were talking about today. But also, they just want to give you the best interest over the term of the loan.
Did you say business loan?
Business loan, yeah.
All right, we'll have a chat after this.
Oh, yeah, cool. We'll hit him up. What they're going to be able to do is they're going to be able to present you with all the options. So if it's a mortgage that's over 30 years, they'll be like, here's the best options. So you pay the least amount of interest over the term of the loan. But also they present you with all this other stuff like, if you put an extra $100 in this week and that week and that week and this week, you're going to save 6 years on your mortgage and pay $150,000 less or whatever it ends up being. Yeah. So they're very good. They make it so easy for you to break down and understand. And he's just a fucking legend. I love you, Ted. And Zoe, thank you so much for your guys' support. But today we were joined again by Clo Geddes on behalf of whatever place she wants to be representing.
No, it's. I don't like to be the representative, but I do like to do the work.
Yeah,
so
you're
it's
doing well.
like I don't work with them; they work with me.
Yeah. Look,
I always feel like I have to accompany it with a disclaimer. But
yes.
Yeah.
Well, another disclaimer: we're both a little tired. It's been a long day, long week. A couple of times lose track of thought. Let's see. I don't even track of thought. Is that it? Thought of track. My brain is cooked. Anyway.
I think you might be a little bit overdone, mate.
Yeah, it's been a long year.
Look, it has been a long year for all of us. There's a little rambling in the beginning of us making sense of the cultural problem that presents itself on both
left and right.
sides of the political spectrum. Mm-hmm. See, look, we're in the zone now.
There we go.
So we do talk a lot about that. Too long, don't read. There is a guide for you to read, which will be in the show notes. So if we're annoying you, please download that because the information in it is important.
Yeah.
Our health sovereignty and actually our just sovereignty as Australians in this country is under threat, and we need to be informed to be able to protect ourselves better.
I love that. I think we also touched on conscientious objection, a few other things. But
a little bit of under 16, a little bit of no jab, no play.
Yeah. But good episode as always, Chloe. So without further ado, I'm going to say it and I'm going to let you say it as well. Let's get hard.
Let's get hard. No, that was terrible.
Welcome to Hard Yarns Podcast.
I am fucking fat.
Anything Chris White says, please disregard it.
5D is actually a state of being. It's a unity consciousness.
That was Hard Yarns with me, Frankie Rose. So I'm going to throw it over to your co-host,
Daniel Delby.
And Cameron Branch.
I would do this and then I'd gong.
Free in attendance for the millions listening at home. Let's get hard.
No, okay, so did you ever see the South Park episode about Casa Bonita?
Oh, no.
Okay, it's like this insane restaurant. It looks like that. It's a real restaurant.
Yeah.
And in the episode, Cartman wants to go to Casa Bonita, and I think he ends up having to go.
Oh, I have seen that one. I need to go to Casa Bonita. Yeah. So I remember.
Matt and Trey buy the real Casa Bonita.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then make a documentary about it because it's been around since like the 70s or something like that.
Okay.
And then it was this is how you know someone's gonna fuck you money, right? Because the renovation, I think they pitched it to be at the beginning of the documentary, it's like 12 million or something like that.
Which is still sizable.
Very sizable, but they're going into it with projections and whatnot, and then they get all of the health and safety people. And it's like there's an electric box right next to where the divers are coming out from the pool and stuff, and it blows out to 30, 60 million or something like that. And their biggest conversation around it is like, still kind of want to do it though. You're just like, oh right.
Yeah.
God, that level of freedom must be really fun. But yeah, they've come under fire a little bit in terms of tipping and wages and stuff. And I'm glad they're figuring it out. But one could also suspect that might be the boys are getting a bit threatened at the moment.
Well, they don't hold back, do they?
Well, that's the problem. No, but that's the problem. This season, they've kind of been holding back
a little bit,
and you're like,
okay. I didn't know that. I haven't seen the recent season. I've seen them have a crack at Trump, which that was very funny. I was like, standard. They just.
It felt really nice because it was like, this is the South Park I grew up with.
Yeah, they just make fun of fucking everyone and anything, no matter what they think.
Yeah. But
I love that.
But it just feels like they've been somewhat restricted. And this kind of delayed episodes, they're only coming out once a fortnight, and then it's, we haven't been able to get it together. And it's like, oh, well, that sounds like you might be having a thumb put on you. Maybe. I don't know.
They could be. Well, look at what happened to see, I don't like what's his name? Jimmy
Kimmel.
I don't like Jimmy Kimmel.
No, but that was, I still was on his side in terms of free speech for that.
Same.
The man is entitled to make a shit joke.
Yeah. Now, what was that Trump, or was that Trump's administration, or who put the thumb on him?
So for who? Sorry.
For Kimmel.
For Kimmel. Well, Kimmel was wasn't that the Charlie Kirk?
Yeah.
Just after that assassination.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
That one was a little bit different. That was like kind of Trump came out and just said, yeah.
Well, he wants all of them. He thinks all of them.
Him.
He thinks they should all be pulled. I don't think he thinks Jimmy Fallon should be pulled and stuff. Do you know what? I loved Jimmy Fallon back in the day.
Oh, did you?
I was a big fan. Sorry. I loved it. I loved the Jimmy Fallon show.
All of those SNL up-and-comers, like cast members, that was that was kind of the end of a golden era, because he was like in the Amy Poehler, Tina Fey.
Yeah, towards the end of that, yeah.
Sarah Silverman kind of crossing out. I know too much about SNL.
It's one of my
SNL
was
shows.
so good. It was my favourite. The Christmas special was so good. I tried to go to tried to jag lottery tickets to the Christmas one when I was in New York.
That would have been amazing.
Tried everything, but
no. Yeah, they're solid comedy show. Have we started? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, nice and easy. See, we're just chatting.
We're just chatting, but the people hate that.
Yeah.
They're too much preamble. Get to
get
to the hot takes.
Too much preamble. Yeah.
Well, you know what? How's your year ending? Let's give them more preamble. Screw it.
Preamble.
How's your year? It's panning out, ending.
It's good. Yeah, we're I'm trying to figure out when the last episode of the year will be. I've got an episode scheduled for the 27th. That has to go out that day.
Okay.
And Delby might not be in that episode because he may be like having a big day before. So I don't know. I might try and do another one or a Christmas special.
Yeah, I was going to be like, is this going to go back the way of the OG podcast where it was just like a cyclical, rotating in and out kind of thing? That's
I think
fun.
so. I think we might get a big party going. I don't know. But we don't have long to organise that. So
no, you don't. And everyone's going away and having to spend time with their families or not spend time with their families, depending on what side of the... I
would like to do that. And if not, we might do a New Year one.
Yeah, that could be cool too.
Yeah, either way, we'll try and get something.
But, we sat here a year ago and did an election podcast.
Yeah.
Now we're at the end of 2025, and I feel like it's been a bit of a shit show.
Yes. It was always going to be the way regardless, wasn't it? Even if Trump came in and did all the amazing things that we were hoping he was going to do, which he kind of knew he wouldn't do at all and whatnot.
Yeah,
it still
but
would
did
have
you see?
It still would have required a lot of struggle, which would have created a lot of turbulence anyway.
I got sent an article today, and it got me very, very irritated, but then I've calmed down because I've read past the headline. So a little bit, but it's not giving me much confidence. Like with the World Cup, Trump has now put out saying the ESTA, which is like the quick, we're just popping into the US, not for any other visa reasons. It's now requiring like 5 years of social media.
What was that?
So that was a voluntary thing, but for the World Cup and people coming in, they're going to make it mandatory for everyone. But once it's in for something like that, is it something that stays or is it something that goes? And
is it the fear that there's a lot of, I don't know. I mean, fortunately, my last 5 years have been quite supportive of the Trump administration. Now, maybe I've pulled back on that a little bit lately, but it's at least that's a good thing.
Well, it is, but it's always for me.
Yeah, no,
the principle of the thing, and it's like I cannot.
Well, yeah,
and I really wanted to go to the States. I've been wanting to go for quite a few years now, and I've got friends over there, and I just go, oh, well, that's gone.
Do you think? I think you're all right.
We'll see.
Because
I might have to do
vaccine
like
stuff is in their interest, or Bobby Kennedy is doing that. So I don't know.
Oh, I think what is it? There was a quote from an interview that it was like, I cannot stand elitism if I'm not included. So it's like as long as we're on the right side, we're fine. We cannot think that way, Branchy.
Yes,
we cannot think that way.
No, you're correct. You are correct. But because it is concerning because I want to go potentially with Wolfie one of these trips.
Oh yeah, that'd be
over
great
to Austin,
one.
but more not for comedy, more to
talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. There's some great people in Austin. So
we talked about doing another initiative like that a few years ago, which will still happen at some point.
Yeah, but that would be good.
Yeah, road trip, little yarns road trip.
That'll be lovely. Talking to some good people. Del
Bigtree.
Yeah,
he's
he's doing good.
He has. Look, I've been honestly this year is probably the first year in quite some time that I've been just on stuff at home because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah. Well.
So I haven't looked at a lot of the Maha stuff since the beginning quarter of the year.
Yeah. Well, but considering you have been talking about home, let's look at home.
That's what's going on. Do you want to know what I had a bee in my bonnet about this morning?
Yeah, go on.
I've been locked out of Substack.
Why? Do you look under 16?
They want my age verification on Substack.
Okay, so what sort of age verification?
So I did press engage to see what the prompt would be, and it was like a video of me moving my head, and I went, that's biometrics.
Yeah.
Stuff.
The only thing, see, and maybe you can educate me on my lack of concerns, but when it comes to just putting an ID or something in, I'm like, well, mate, they look at my face. It's on the fucking screen all the time. They know who I am.
Yeah.
So is ID really an issue? When they connect it to an essential database that has to be attached to a digital identification, which has your bank detail or your bank attached to it, your passports, your license, every part of your life, your health attached to it, that concerns me.
Yeah.
And access to social media requiring a digital identification. I think that'll get a lot of people over the line.
Well, and the trial, because they're going to run for renting next year as well.
Yeah, this rent, because you told us about this before a few people started speaking about it. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do a expose. And then everyone else did it. So I was like, okay, well, yep. Explain it.
The problem, okay, so this is now, you've put a little bit of a slant on the question and kind of, I guess, philosophically, for me, the problem is two aspects. The kind of nudge theory of it all, of like, oh, well, it's just uploading your passport. Oh, well, it's just putting in your bank details. Oh, it's just this thing. And then before you know it, your entire framework has been created, and they're now taking things from you or shutting things off when they feel like it's appropriate because the infrastructure's already there. So that's one aspect of it.
Concern, yeah.
Because like when people, I get very, very frustrated when people say, oh, well, they've got all that anyway. Like, you upload it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's, I guess the spiritual warfare component of it, of going, well, so you are just going to exist with no boundary. You're not going to establish a line of sovereignty around, and you're just going to say, well, they've got it anyway, so I'm just going to give my permission. And I feel like that's a very dangerous thing to do, just on a respect for yourself as a human being, individual, like on that level. So that's why I won't. Like Substack, it sounds like such a petty thing of being like, because I've got 35 subscribers on Substack.
Yeah.
I lean into sad girl writing and some conspiracy stuff and some sociological stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's my little happy place I publish for me. And then
why Substack?
This morning.
Because they did it with Reddit as well. It's not really a social media platform.
No, but I think because one of the points of it can fall under that umbrella, or I guess companies can opt in voluntarily, is like the messaging. So Spotify got messaging randomly a couple of months ago. You can message your friend. For what purpose?
Yeah.
Hey, I just checked out this.
Yeah, randomly got a message on Spotify. I was like, how is this possible?
I don't want 1,000 apps with different messages in them. If I know you and you're my mate, and you're going to send me a song, you're going to send it in a text or play it for me when I next see you. So you see, it was a lot of compliance or like voluntary compliance from different platforms. And I felt Substack did feel a little bit shady because that is a prominent source of independent journalism. That's where journalists who are actually doing their job and standing behind the words that they're writing publish.
Yeah.
I assume a lot of those independent journalists would feel that there are some problems with the Online Safety Act and may want to critique it.
Yeah.
And now they can't do that.
That seems a conflict of interest. Well, there's also like the concern that very shortly, just to do a Google search, you'll require an ID.
As in, so you're not going to be allowed to write anything, or will it be like an age gate thing? If they assume that it's more mature content, you have to verify to search. Because I thought that it was only connected to your Google account, so that would be your use of Gmail, your use of Google attached to that account, because you can use it anonymously. Like you can use YouTube anonymously, but if a video's been rated for adults,
signed in to Google.
I'm assuming that would have to be
I'd hope so.
That would have to be the
like
line.
If I just on Safari type in Google and go into Google.
Yeah, but it's a inconvenience thing, because you lose like watch histories, or I saw that thing and where was it, and you can go through your logs and stuff. So I mean, that seems to be what it's sacrificing at the moment. The spread of it is just gross.
So with this podcast, for example, my social media, the Hard Yarns, because we were getting too many people trying to hack into our social media over the last year. So we've had to.
Really?
Yeah. So through the verification and stuff, we've had to submit ID for who we are. So I've already had to do that to a point, and that's annoying.
But it's on a one-off basis in that instance, and it's between you and the platform, and sure, it doesn't feel great, but you're also initiating something because you're going, well, we're receiving these hacking attacks, right? It's not just actually to use it blanketly. You have to have this.
Oh, mate, the amount of times people are like, you've tried to log in from India.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, okay. I'm not there. So
it must feel
this looks suspicious.
Nice. It must feel nice to be talked about,
Yeah. So, but if it does come in, because it's shortly, I feel like it's December 27th.
For what?
This
age verification. No, it was the 10th.
No, age verification for Google.
Oh, for Google. Oh, the staggered one. I was going, wait, what? We're already in it. Well, we'll see.
Well, did you see the? It didn't work. Did you see
I
TikToks?
love that. Yes,
But
yes.
I got the thing on this morning. On that morning, it's like, okay, all you do is press OK.
Yeah, and then it's
Like that is not
the people's app.
TikTok.
Thank you.
We tried.
That's 2 for 2 now.
Well,
Like the US ban was for 24 hours.
Well, fortunately,
and now
it's our
here
biggest
they're just
platform.
Like,
So, yeah, exactly. I genuinely think that there'll be enough pushback against things like digital ID if they push it for social media bans and whatnot, or not social media bans, but you require digital ID to get into social media. It'll be like COVID. Okay, it's not working. You no longer require it. Just like in COVID, you had to get vaccinated to travel. Actually, you don't anymore.
Yeah, but also we shouldn't be relying on the government's incompetence and like inability to, or this. Well, it's not even an inability. It's just they're shoving their nose where it's not wanted at every opportunity.
Correct.
Like I would like roads that work, and I would like hospitals that I can go to without waiting for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, hearing the doctor who's, I assume, managing the floor, telling each other emergency bay, unfortunately, that's all the testing and medication I'm funded to give you for this visit. You need to do everything else privately.
What?
Yeah.
I don't understand. You mean as in?
So I had to attend emergency a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in my bay waiting for the doctor to come and talk to me. And, you can hear people each other side of you. And there was one woman who was in a lot of pain and making a lot of noise about it. And I think was wanting to go for a CT scan or MRI. Like she was, I'm here. Like this is really, really, and they just were like, no, it's overcapacity. So you need to go and follow that up yourself. And you can do so privately, or you can wait for the referral.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not bad. That's the scary part, is how bad it is going to get over the next few years if no one steps in and says it. Well, when I say no one, I mean, collective organising.
Well, yeah, and not that I think Basil's going to do a better job or Liberals or anyone will do a better job, but Basil pointed it out the other day, like it's been 9 years of announcements by Labor.
Yeah.
And not one hospital. Like all these announcements. It's like, here's the show. This is what we're doing for you, and no follow through.
There's never any. Until it becomes so painful for them to exist day to day because people are just piling on. Like I feel like more people probably should have piled on with the online safety stuff.
Yeah, so even
that really only became part of somewhat of a mainstream conversation a month out.
So what are the concerns about the Online Safety Act for you?
Just the ban and having to submit documentation. Like the internet was a equalizer of information access, and that's being taken away. Like anonymity is a great thing, and I don't think there's any site that you can't avoid those things on, like just by having common sense, but apparently not. And I mean, I learned. So I'll just say one thing, because I didn't know about this organisation. And did you see the article that Cracky posted the past couple of days?
No.
There's this organisation that were, I guess, like a grassroots advocacy lobbying one, called 36 Months. And what the 36 months was the 3 years from when you were allowed to have a social media account, because the age was 13, to 16.
Yeah, about Whipper.
Yes. Yes.
What the fuck?
So, apologies for the silence, but yeah, I was like a little bit gobsmacked by that. And then I watched an interview with the founder of it, Greg Attell.
I don't know. Yeah,
Greg Attell, that's a comic. No, David Attell's a comic.
So it was Whipper and some business.
There's Tanya Tozzi as well. It's the 36 Months is backed by a PR firm. So I think half half of that group has come from the PR firm, and then they've just gotten like some radio personalities, because I saw Tanya Tozzi was on the board, and I was like, oh, early 2000s, hello.
Yeah.
But I watched him give an interview like talking about the importance of the work that they're doing, and then he goes, well, you know, it's just a group of dads that got in a room and we were just lamenting about how our kids, you know, like it's hard to say no to them and they don't want to miss out on the social life and get FOMO. So we just thought, wow, can we change the law?
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah. Like, how is that even a thought?
Well,
entertain.
The audacity is very male-coded, and that's probably as feminist as you'll hear me get. But no, I was just... The fact that a group can be funded, like, because they had Kit Kat funding a part of their summer campaign, it was just the most bizarre thing.
Yeah.
And they've just come out of nowhere and they have acted as this puppet, essentially, to push this through.
I've seen that...
And they went to the UN. They went to the General Assembly to present it, because we are world leaders in this.
This is what I was about to say. They spent $100,000 of taxpayers' money to fly over there, spruik this thing that they've got going on, and then...
And host a private event at this like Australian bar in New York.
And get some big sponsors.
Hugh
on
Jackman,
board.
brackets invited. It's like, it's so tragic.
Two worlds collide. He just did a good bit on, a good expose on all of that.
Yeah,
He's our first episode of 2026. He's flying over.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. Anyway, he's coming to hang for a couple of days. Gonna play golf.
That's all right. So yeah, that was an interesting one. And then another one that came up, I don't know if you saw it, was the US Congress committee petitioning for Julie Inman Grant to attend a session. Explain, because she was now like, please explain to us how you're not infringing on
Human
America's
rights.
freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting conversation that I want to see play out. I'm really disappointed that she was meant to give an answer by the 2nd of December. I'm assuming she said no, because I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
But
I do recall that happening.
Oh my gosh. And like, that is actual governance, is having those conversations of where it's like, your government should be finding the appropriate line, not just a blanket overstep for everyone. Of like, where are we? What's the least amount of work required from us, or like the least amount of obligation required from us to still allow our citizens to have their autonomy, but we can keep things functioning, because they do that for us.
Yeah.
This is a symbiotic relationship. Well, it's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
But it's not one right now.
But they're meant to work for us.
Yeah. I'm sorry for being so up, down, left, right, sideways. But like, honestly, this week...
You're only saying what a lot of people are thinking and concerned about.
But, this year has just been an onslaught ever since that election and the inauguration. And like, I had about 5 minutes of hope, happiness of like, yep, we've got a bit of time to do the work now. Yeah. And then that inauguration, I went, no, we don't. Yeah, things are changing.
Yeah, because of the techs. Big tech. Have you seen any positive? Well, there have been positives, obviously, but it's sort of like, it's like puppet. It's like a magician. Look over here.
A little bit of sleight of hand.
But I mean, there's been some good things. Like I don't know if anything comes from it though. Like what RFK is doing, for example, I think feels good. But again, it's all like, I just hear a lot of talk.
Well, it's hearing so much talk, and like, I know these things take time, and I think because particularly with HHS and the work that Bobby's doing around vaccines, it's also because of where I sit and my experience in that space, I understand the mammoth task that he has ahead of him, and it would be irresponsible to just go in and be like, none of it matters anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's taking quite slow and considered steps. in many, many respects, but it just feels like we're in the midst of the unknown and we're all dealing with it in our own ways, but none of those are cohesive with each other.
I think it's
everyone's rubbing up.
I think
around.
we're in a turbulent spot, but it's the death rattle. I don't think that lasts a short amount of time.
You can have a death rattle for days and days.
I think
and days.
I think decades. Like I don't think this is going to be an easy.
I'm in a hospice.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's going to be a genuinely difficult change. Systems are breaking down and being exposed, and to a point, they might get worse. They might get more. They might get more pushback publicly.
Because I think we talked about this a little while back, but also this sense of we talk about political problems, but it's not a political problem that we have. No. It's a cultural problem that we have in the West. And everyone's happy to get on their soapbox and scream and rant and rave, myself included, but not so happy to go home and go, okay, where am I not being a good parent? Where am I not being a good partner or daughter or whatever the role is? Is my home taken care of? We need to get back to that. Everyone's got this assumption that their view is like, I guess, it's the right one. Yeah. And I don't know why that seems to be a hard conversation for people to have with themselves.
Yeah. Well, this is, we spoke about that yesterday, me and Dowie, about what is truth anyway. Like, what is it? It's very subjective to the point of view, your upbringing, your ideology,
there
your
is
traumas.
No truth, only judgment.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So,
So I don't know how long that little preamble will go on for before people really start getting stuck in and doing what's required. But democracy, it ain't a spectator sport.
Yeah, well, I keep referring to, well, this is true.
So we've got both of those things to deal with at the same time.
I'll bring up two things. So Bryn Edwards, I always talk about him and in systemic organisational psychology. Bryn Edwards and the work he's been doing with, footy teams or workplaces or families, collective amounts of people, and how they can work more harmoniously together. And it always comes back to self. It's always understanding your purpose, place, and nature within that collective. And so they've been doing that within communities. And I know listeners, they might hear me say this all the time. But yeah, he's been doing that. And because they've been able to do it in communities, you can scale it out to nations, the globe. It's always coming back to you, what you can focus on. Stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. Yeah. People don't see it like that. They think they have to be pointing out. And this is where it comes to the resistance creates resistance. And sometimes, yes, it's not a spectator sport, but maybe it is. Like, do it. So this is the fear. If we just stopped caring, stopped pushing against all this stuff, my fear is, they just walk all over us, put in all these systems into place, and you just, and then you're stuck in almost a China-like social credit system dictatorship. That's the fear. But then the other side of me is like, well, resistance creates resistance. If we keep pushing against each other, we're just pushing each other further and further apart. Yeah. If we just fucking stop caring about each other and what everyone else is doing wrong and right, and that resistance stops. And I know this seems counterintuitive, but I feel like that distance would just come closer and closer together. And yes, they would be opposed, but it'd be like a bit more of a circle if I was going to put it into a shape instead of an extended elastic band. Yeah, or like you're just talking about kind of getting rid of some of the tension. Yeah, between those two things. It's very... It's hard because I am aware that if we just stop pushing, stop making people aware of these things, and stop exposing lies and hypocrisies and corruption, then what do you do? But then I guess the one thing that is important, what you just said, go back to home. What do you like as a parent? What do you like as a person? What do you like as a brother? sister, friend.
Well, because that dictates what you focus on, or in terms of if we're developing legislation, which I think we can probably agree we don't like. Australia doesn't need to be ramming through legislation left, right, and centre.
No,
very, very over legislated country, but the self-reflection and focusing on what are your principles, your foundation is what you can contribute to the conversation. So you better make sure your foundation's a really good one and is serving you. And if you're someone who, and it's again, obviously individual experience, it's a varied thing, but generally speaking, if you've got a kind of crummy relationship with your parents, what are you okay with that? If it's affecting you negatively emotionally, then you probably need to sort that out before you're talking about reforming Medicare or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because you're bringing that to that conversation too.
Yeah.
And so I guess, that's where it's for.
Yeah, get your foundations in place before you start trying to tell everyone else what to do. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, including government.
Well, yeah, including the government and our representatives as well.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this when we were doing the previous interviews for the World Health Organization stuff. I think it was Michael said, he put something forward of introducing something like term limits, but it's that if you are elected, you should represent yourself in such a way that when you return to work, your community welcomes you.
Yeah.
And doesn't go, look at that asshole who did this,
Yeah.
that, and that. Blah, blah,
Yeah, it
and
was
get
Michael,
run out of town. Does Mark McGowan still walk around in public? Because I feel like there'd be a lot of people who are still very angry at him.
I'm interested because what if it was someone who was the opposite of Mark McGowan? Just was that genuine? I'm putting it out there that guy was fucking corrupt as shit and just he enforced some disgusting things on here. But let's for a second give him the benefit of the doubt. And he was truly
that negligence was his only crime.
he was being told this information by who he assumed was the experts, and he's like, I have to trust them. I can't listen to all this fucking noise on the outside. I have to trust that they're giving me the right information, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to cop all the hate for the better of everyone, for the greater good. I don't think that's what he did, but let's give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still going to get hate, and what. I don't know. Is politics good to get into? I don't know. I think it's just I don't think it's a smart decision because people are so politically charged. They're so put in their own camps.
Yeah.
They've chosen a camp. And I think as soon as you've chosen a camp, you've lost.
Well, yeah, making it about identity and
people still think we're right wing here. And and potentially and wholeheartedly admit that we definitely fell into right-wing stuff before, but I think logic doesn't necessarily make you right-wing, and using discernment and calling out what's happening in government.
No, I guess, the unfortunate nature is we're still going through this hangover that the kind of left progressive side have of what conservative thought is.
Yeah.
It's you're not allowed to have things, and then they're telling us we're not allowed to have things. That's a very childish response.
Yes. Yeah.
And I felt that way probably, as a child of the George W. presidency at the time. It was they were stiff and whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, no, I've just had a total blank moment, Branchy. Can you give me 1 second?
No, it's all good. Yeah, I don't know. I just think in those sort of, is that a situation where if we carry, I don't know. I really don't know what the...
So, okay.
I don't know what the answer is.
I don't know what bits of this are in and out of this conversation when it finally gets posted. But we are rambling about
left and right,
and trying to have a cohesive statement about what that is. I think in terms of, and the idea, we'll take it back to my first sentence, and maybe we'll just like slot this in here so we sound like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No, it's not a political problem, it's a cultural problem. We are a generation of children. And I say that for both left and right equally, in that we're always pointing at the opposite as the problem.
Yeah.
Or even, I guess, in the kind of tinfoil hat community, it's always like the system. And I've been in this a long time, like in terms of these topics are not new to me. I've grown up learning about them. So I find the constant anger and barrage and like this is the like that is where I go, this is not the path to a solution.
No.
There is no nuance. It's so highly emotionally charged.
Yeah.
Why can we not sit and have a conversation about our political leanings or thoughts about what we would like to see in the country we live in without making it immediately ourself, like our whole self.
Yeah.
Like like people like, I mean, people on the conservative side of things are gonna be like, oh, it's like there's social justice warriors and the LGBT and it's just like identity politics. And it's like, you are also engaging in identity politics on a regular like MAGA is identity politics.
Correct.
It has merch.
Yeah, correct. I bought that merch the other day for my golf game. Make golf great again.
I bought it before it was cool. I still have it. 2015, prior to the election, I bought a MAGA hat that says "Grab him by the pussy." I did not think he would win, and I thought that is a hilarious hat to have. But you know, here we are 7 years later.
So one thing you talked about, coming back to self, it's hard when government imposes things that restrict you. And something that has been happening for the past, as far as I'm aware, I mean, being close to 15 years, they've had, and maybe you're more aware of the dates, Senator Antic has brought this to light, that the no jab, no pay rules, to a point, really, basically violates Nuremberg Code, but it coerces people into making a medical decision.
Yes, it does.
And so by coercing people to make this medical decision, by withholding welfare and subsidies for things like
it's really, really
daycare.
It's really, really important to state that you still are entitled to Family Tax Benefit Part A. What they will do is reduce your payment to the minimum one per fortnight, which I cannot imagine. As you know, I obviously did not jab, so I did not play. I cannot imagine a family doing that now if they were relying on those payments to, like, with cost of living stuff. That especially when the price of a day of daycare is almost as much as it would cost, or as much as you would earn for doing a day's work. Yeah, and so it's is it worth it? Is it not? Kind of thing. It's also the way that the other side of no jab, no pay, no jab, no play is the childcare subsidy, and that is, it changes state to state. And then it also relies on the daycare centres or childcare centres themselves. They are the ones who administrate that. So if they're found to be breaching it, then there's massive penalties for them. As well. And so I guess also very important to say that this isn't about whether or not vaccines are safe or not. This is more about you are coercing people to make a medical decision, whether it be through religious freedoms, your own personal choice freedoms. You should not be pressuring or coercing anyone to make that. That's a breach of the Nuremberg Code, the human rights. Yeah. And I think that's going to be a really interesting conversation next year. I know that there are a few kind of, and Antic coming forward and saying that was, big. There's a couple of moments through this journey I've kind of cried about it. Russell Broadbent brought it into the it's brought it into the conversation last year, and I had a couple of conversations with him about it in regards to my experience. So anyway, but yeah, so what it used to be prior to no jab, no pay, no jab, no play is that you would fill out a form stating that you were a conscientious objector.
Yes.
Now, a conscientious objector has done their homework.
Yeah.
So part of the media campaign of no jab, no pay, no jab, no play was to remove conscientious objection as a reason. And now you just were like a denier of vaccines or a vaccine objector.
Yes.
The data that I've found the most compelling on this topic, and that it's more of an equity issue, God forbid using that word, but we are all taxpayers, and this is a service that should be open to all parents within this country that are contributing financially to it. In WA's vaccine uptake data from 2018, there were because it had slipped a couple of percentage points, but essentially was kind of being used for justification of like, this is why this type of legislation is so important. The lowest rates of vaccination in Western Australia were, I think I've said this to you before, Fremantle and down south, Denmark maybe. And then it was closely followed by Subiaco, Claremont,
the rich.
Yeah, Peppermint, like that Golden Triangle area.
The Golden Triangle
had the least rate of
because
vaccination within the country. Within the state. Where were the highest rates of vaccination in Western Australia? I'll tell you, Gosnells, Armidale, Rockingham, all the places where the poor people live that are on welfare. Sorry, WA.
Yeah.
I come from very humble beginnings myself, Mount Azura, but that was a little bit fancy
the lower
back then.
socioeconomic
But yes,
areas.
essentially, lower socioeconomic areas that rely on those payments had the highest uptake. That tells you pretty much everything you need to know. I know correlation is not causation, but that's quite evident.
Yeah.
Is that the people that can afford alternative childcare will go down that road, and those that can't will go down the road that is open to them. It's quite disgusting.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I was able to, when we talk about vaccines, it's a very taboo topic. People wanted to shut me down and say that I'm dangerous. But you take conversations like that to someone who is traditionally left and progressive and go, how is that fair?
Well, this is
they start to go, oh, something else is happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been considered a lefty, and I was considered a lefty definitely when I started this podcast. I was playing football at Wanneroo Footy Club, and I had people calling me, "You lefty, you hippie," because I was progressive in my thoughts on people and how they should all have a right to choose things and all these sorts of progressive liberal ideas that are now for some reason branded right wing. If anything, I'm just like, hey, we do have a freedom of choice. We shouldn't be pressured into making decisions. And this is a perfect example of one of them.
Also, the fact that no jab, no play has inconsistencies across the country. Please don't get any ideas, Albo, or actually it would be Butler.
Yeah.
How does that not undermine the protectiveness of it? Like if the rules are different in Tasmania, and I'm not going to sell any state out.
Yeah.
You can go and read this on Department of Health pages, but there are places that you can go to daycare without an immunisation record or an empty immunisation record.
Yeah.
And the only time it would become an issue would be if there was an outbreak and you continued to attend.
Well, yeah, this is...
The rules change everywhere you are in this country. So is it effective if we're not, because we haven't tested that, if we're not applying those same rules?
I'm now blessed to be in a position now that we're having another child, little boy, which we announced.
I know. I've known for a very long time.
So I'm
very exciting.
Very excited.
Boys are so great.
I know. So can't wait. And now I'm blessed with the flexibility of this job and Grace's job as well to be able to balance that. If I'm not saying we're going to choose that, but if I choose to do that and Grace chooses to do that, which probably are, we're blessed that we have the flexibility to be able to go, right, I can stay at home today and we don't have to do daycare.
Informed consent is for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many people have that flexibility to be able to make that decision?
Not a lot.
And I know working from home is getting a bit more, this is coercion, and it was certainly before COVID where you did not have, no one worked from home. So there was not this sort of flexibility.
When I made my decision, I was working in the service industry. I did not have that flexibility.
Exactly.
To be honest, it was like, who knows what those other years would have played out like if I hadn't have, like if the pandemic hadn't have happened. Well, like if things had continued as normal, but that's, that is waffling. Let's get into that.
Well, okay. And this sort of segues very nicely into what you came on to talk about specifically, which was the Australian CDC, the aptly named ACDC, Akadaka, and how it becomes a central authority to our health decisions. That could be, that really, what would you? It answers to no one, and
well, yeah. So it's supposed to be an independent authority. I don't know how it's an independent authority when it's the health minister that ends up appointing the Director General of the Australian Centre of Disease Control. So it's someone that he from a short list that he did. And I look, I can't confirm, and I'm sure people are going, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. But the a lot of these job listings, because obviously I've been doing a lot of research on what's been happening and when, because the CDC was a body or an interim body prior to the legislation being passed this year.
Yeah. So explain this, because this is taxpayer money being used to fund something that hadn't yet been approved.
This is correct. There's apparently departments do have an amount of money that they are allowed to put forward to legislation that is in development before it passes. And I think I'll have to look up the number, was 70 million
so
off the top of my
the
head.
Assumption that something like this, especially with that amount of taxpayers' money being put into it, that's a bit of a gamble. Or is it not a gamble and they know that they're going to put this through whether or not the Australian people want it?
So it was 100 million.
It's 100 million.
To set it up. So it plays into a greater framework and why Australia didn't just wake up one morning and decide that it wanted a centre of disease control and then made one. The Australian Centre of Disease Control has been established with a very explicit framework and way that they want to run things. And this is how we track it back and go, oh, okay, so this is here. So a year and a half ago, I think, prior to the General Assembly, I came on and talked about the pandemic treaties and the international health regulation amendments and what was going on there. Now, the pandemic preparedness treaty is still in drafting. They really can't seem to figure that one out, or I guess how to get people to sign on. But it's currently, they have a working group who are having a look at the draft again, and then we'll put it forward at another General Assembly, and then member states will be able to sign on to it. The international health regulations, we are legally bound to. So when I listened to Rennick's last episode on here, I think he did misspeak in that he said, well, we're not going to be bound to them. No, we are bound to the international health regulations, or as in what the WHO says does actually have credence in this scenario. Okay. So we've got all of these moving parts. So you got preparedness, pandemic preparedness treaty. You have the international health regulations. That's the legally bound bit. Then you also have the One Health Framework, which was a World Bank initiative, and I just was listening to something the other day. Apparently Rockefeller Foundation co-funded that one too.
Of course they did.
Which, again, kind of was like a mind wave, because I've sat here and we talked Rockefeller Medicine Man and how he kind of took over what is now known as allopathic medicine. So One Health is sitting there. Now, One Health is super vague in what it is, but what you can gather from their presentations and documentation is that, and I really don't like it because they use words like holistic.
Yeah.
But it is a holistic...
Don't use that word. That's
ours.
that is ours. You fucking you leave that shit alone.
Well, you look. I mean, part of I think the reason we're in the state we're in at the moment is that words, when we give a word too many meanings, it becomes meaningless.
Oh yeah.
You know. So
anyway. Look at the movements that have been hijacked. Even words, woke.
I was going to be like, look at the word movement.
Yeah. But the word woke, that was originally
and then a couple of years ago I saw someone post that was quite progressive, and I went, oh, they think that's there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's slowly movements and activism constantly gets hijacked, and I think that's a tactic.
Yeah.
I think it's a tactic to get feminism, which was in its infancy, was fucking incredible progressive movement to try and help.
It?
Well,
it
felt like it anyway. It felt like it was innocent, and it felt like it was driven organically, and then it got hijacked to this. It's gone to a point where it's, not just raise women up and give them equal opportunity and rights, and it is now like, well, bring men down, and fucking it's gone too far.
Oh yeah, that's I'm going to be spending a lot of time next year focusing on the men and women problem, because I kind of horseshoed into, I was raised quite feminist progressive, and then went, no, that's not right.
Yeah.
Something's gone very, very wrong here. But then I'm also now seeing men in particularly their representation in the digital world, and I'm like, this is not great either, guys. We all need to be better.
Yeah. How about just be like a firm, like if you're a man, be a firm, masculine, disciplined person, but then have a bit of empathy, a bit of understanding, and you can have a balance.
Yeah, there's like
there's a point with my kid. Okay, perfect. I'm a dad. There's a point in which dad goes, oi. Mm-hmm. I'll be the most understanding and empathetic dad I can possibly be, but there's a couple of times where I fucking go, fucking listen.
Yeah, of course.
You got it.
And it hits different to if I were to do the same thing.
Correct.
I'll say, so, I mean, you're a male parent of a female child at this point. Yeah. I'm a female parent of a male child. Mm-hmm. We could go and engage in exactly the same parenting behavior, like address the issue and have with the exact same child and have completely different results. Yep. I'm so interested to hear what it's like parenting a boy, like having or the opposite gender now, like having one of both, because you will probably change.
Yes.
Like you're going to have to sit with yourself and go like, oh, how does my parenting change from one child to the other, and is that a good thing, or like whatever.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Anyway, sorry people, back to One Health.
Yes. Yes, I have put that in the wrong direction, but yes.
But One Health exists as this framework that says that it's not only human health. It's not only human health. It is human health. It's animal health. It's plant health, and it's also like the ecosystem. So we're looking at the air, the sea, I should say the sea and the skies as well. And that when we're putting forward change in one area, we need to be looking at all of the other areas, which sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, until it's being regulated by one body.
Until it's being regulated by one body. So part of, and I apologise, but I do have a fantastic guide to refer to you to at the end of this episode. But one of these fantastic documents refers to the national focal point, which I think may be the IHR.
The what?
Actually, no, it may be the Pandemic Preparedness Treaty.
Okay.
So national focal point is each of the member states need to have a place, a body that has been established that reports to the WHO.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
As part of being pandemic prepared.
Okay.
And using the One Health framework, that means that there's going to need to be high-level surveillance and cooperation between many bodies that also already exist in Australia. So part of the thing that we're talking about with the Australian Centre of Disease Control Act is the Director General is appointed by the Health Minister. He has gendered language. I think it may be a woman this time. My top 3 contenders are all females for Director General. Which is strange. Again, we don't know who that is, and it's coming into effect on the 1st of January. So again, a little bit odd the way we're doing the order of things. But the Director General can compel authorised information from any of these bodies required to carry out the ACDC's duties. So if there's, we saw... probably not the best example because, there was a antibiotic attached to it. But, the fish in the salmon in Tasmania and they got that antibiotic was 700 kilos or something of it, just went everywhere, contaminated. So the DG would be able to go, all right, I need the data on how many fish were lost, who was on the shift that day, did they have exposure, were there any illnesses that we didn't know about, these kinds of things. So
is it the concern would be and we've raised this with farming before, if there's cattle that have a certain disease, this then becomes a health issue that they get to make the decision on, that passes on, and it becomes, regulated and enforced by our own government.
Yeah, and
well, here there's a disease going through these cows, so to make sure it doesn't go around the whole of Australia, everyone with cattle needs to get rid of I think that's happened with the sheep at some point.
And I think there was quite a few chickens in Victoria a couple of years back that had H1.
Yeah.
Is it H1N1? But avian flu, and that they needed to be culled, and
so these culls, for example, would be determined by the World Health Organization, or would it be the Australian CDC?
Well, so the Australian CDC acts as the advisor to the government, and then the WHO, they have their recommendations for member states.
Okay.
So they work in, tandem, but ACDC on a much more localized level. Where the WHO comes in, they would liaise with the Centre of Disease Control, say if they needed to take, which is perfectly legal for them to under these agreements, take any therapeutics that they feel might be put to better use, say in Africa or wherever else.
Yeah.
It's all of these things are kind of based on preparedness and hypotheticals, so it's hard to almost feel like we should have picked a contagion pandemic and then run through what WHO does and ACDC does in that.
Yes.
And then also with kind of the animal example, I can say the full justification for One Health is this idea of zoonotic spillover, so a disease coming from animal origin and coming into humans. But the science is quite clear on that, that when a virus or presents itself in a host, it doesn't want to kill it, ideally. It wants to reproduce and spread and continue to live. So what you'll find is that if you have a virus that has a really high mortality rate in its kind of birth, will become less and less over time.
Yeah.
And it reduces to something, like the common cold.
Yeah.
So the justification for there being this number one, zoonotic spillover in the wild happens very, very rarely. Number two, when it does happen, it very, very rarely makes people sick.
Yeah.
I've only got the US data on some of the bird flu cases, but I don't think there had been from.
And just to go back on that, by design, it would, to survive, become less and less severe, so it did not kill its host.
Yeah, and but like with prior to the election, I know at least that bird flu had not killed anyone in the US. Mm-hmm. There was one case where a child dug up a dead chicken that was her pet that had passed away, and she had made herself a little bit ill when she dug it up 2 days later, but they were saying there was going to be this massive outbreak, and then it never happened. So those two things, really, very rare. Then what are we preparing for? Well, what we do know is that, like Ebola, HIV, COVID-19, these were all marketed, I suppose, as zoonotic spillovers, but all are strongly evidenced to have been created in a lab.
Yeah, okay.
Because what the science also says is that even when you try to replicate or create a virus just to hop from one to body to another, you need to split and splice and put all of these biomarkers to make it as strong and resilient as possible, because it's going to have a really hard time taking hold and causing an outbreak.
Okay.
So
the risk...
The solution doesn't seem to fit the problem at this point.
So that's just one part of it, though, I guess, zoological spillover.
Well, this is the main driving factor for this. We need to look at it as one problem, because if we upset the environment in some way and cause a disease in animals, then every human's at risk immediately. And we will have another pandemic, or we will have like disease X, the WHO has that in perpetuity on the bottom of...
Be honest.
Yes.
Tinfoil hat right now. How much does that concern you?
What, disease X?
Yes.
Well, it is just going tinfoil hat, isn't it? It's all conjecture, but I did see an article that the UK had just finished up a pandemic exercise for a pathogen that was targeting children or was more prevalent in children. So that's not super exciting.
No, and they're like even...
Or what's the word? It doesn't give me a lot of faith.
Like all too often there seems to be, just prior to some world-changing event, there's also happens to be a simulation that's happening. Perfect example.
We talked about SPARS, yeah.
Well, there's two perfect examples. I know 9/11, I know it's completely unrelated, but 9/11 they were running a simulation for hijacked airplanes in New York. But that's pretty coincidental. Yeah. The other one, what was it, 6 months prior, they did a preparedness, a plan for a pandemic where a coronavirus had spilled out and was taking over. What was
that document was published in 2017?
Yeah. So 2 years prior, wasn't it? Yeah. It feels like sometimes they just checking how they're going to navigate, what they're going to react to something they already know is going to happen.
I always,
that's tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
tinfoil hat.
I always feel so bad because I come to record these conversations with you in such good faith that I'm going to be able to just be like a robot and go like this bit of information and this bit of information, and now
why not?
Now aren't you convinced?
Yes.
Because I'm a woman. But it's always becomes a puzzle, and what are the pieces that we need to put together now? They do like to kind of tell you who they are, these strange independent bodies and these bureaucratic members, and this one over here, this philanthropic organization over here, they like to really lay it out for you before they go ahead and do it, which has caused me to lose my train of thought. We were talking about One Health.
Yeah. Shall we go back to that?
I mean, we can. Have you have any other questions about it?
No, just the precursors. More we were talking about, So One Health, it runs. And
the surveillance that's required for that is just.
So
crazy.
this is testing our waters, testing our skies, but then what is this? Testing our cattle. This is testing our.
Testing you if you signed up for My Health Record and you think that that's not going to become a part of authorised articles of information required for the Centre of Disease Control, they're going to need to take samples. Like if, there's and unfortunately the holistic aspect of One Health means that, a climate event can be considered something that needs to be investigated because it has potential health outcomes in humans, animals and plants.
So then, for example, climate crisis could be considered a health problem that could then potentially be, to sort this health problem, we're going to have to limit the kilometres you're travelling in your car.
Yeah. It's
what you're purchasing. And
it's an unfortunate...
Look, that's the dystopian worst case scenario that you fear. Is that just being silly? Because the framework is there for that to be done.
I don't think it's being silly because I think the consequences aren't silly. The consequences of this are, you may be asked to lock down in your home again. I've just realized how much of a barrier I've put in my brain for all of this language because it was a really traumatic time for a lot of us. So it may be that you lose your job. It may be that you lose access to the internet, which, after this morning is something I have to sit with now and go, where is my line of negotiation really? Because we've all just been kind of hypothesizing about it and now it's really here.
Yeah.
So the consequences are very real and they are very dystopian. The unfortunate nature of it is like the people that sit in these boardrooms and, go give me a report on how we would, and I have not made this word up. One Health have made this word up. The operationalization of their framework, which reads very, very strangely. That is market creation. Like these people are not creative.
Yeah.
They've gone, oh, okay, well, we know what this looks like. If we put a virus out there and we can use this therapeutic for a moment and, remember when COVID first happened and hydroxychloroquine was actually, there was a time period there where it didn't make you persona non grata to say, I think this works.
Yeah.
Like people were like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? We might be out of this. There was a kind of a buzz, right?
Yeah.
And then immediately condemned.
Which now in hindsight was incorrect and it helped.
It was incorrect, but why was that done? Why did they say that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin were no good?
Yeah, as and also it was said to be a preemptive.
Yeah, as a
early
prophylaxis.
Early intervention, was it?
Yeah. The earlier the better.
Yeah.
Yes, but why did they demonize hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin?
Well, tinfoil hat or
no, it's an actual answer. There is an actual answer to this question.
Okay. Why did they demonize it?
Because you could not give a new vaccine emergency use authorization if there was an alternative therapy on the market, which there was. So that's what you'll start seeing again. It will be, here's this virus or here's this event that we need to manage.
So, and is that admitted? Is that official position now that they did that specifically, or are we putting two and two together?
Those were the rules. That's like a safety rule. They couldn't do that.
Yes, and I do remember that in the time we were talking about that very thing. The only reason they're saying that is because of that. But we were just putting two and two together, and I don't know if that's
there's a little bit of hootenanny with one of the WHO's senior scientists, and I think it was hydroxychloroquine specific.
I mean,
but
we're not idiots. Of course, that's what it was for.
But what it is it's a really good example of how this framework, because that was the US CDC.
Yeah.
So ours will function in the same way. But now the WHO have really put their heels in the ground and gone, well, you guys manage your little area or your member state, and then we've got you little zone there, because I think they've got 6 zones around the world, and we'll just feed you all of the information. But that centralization of it squashes the scientific debate completely, because people were screaming that from the rooftops with the hydroxychloroquine and the ivermectin. People were doing it themselves and going, lived experience, does it matter now? And they shut it down. Sorry, I just hit my chin on the microphone. I'm getting excited.
Yeah. So that's a time where we have seen that where something that can help people, unfortunately, de-escalates profits for something that could be a potentially big moneymaker.
And so
the good of all was not the priority; it was the profits of the big pharmaceuticals in this case, influencing the right people to make those decisions.
Healthy people don't make these businesses money. What you'll find is a lot of the philanthropic organizations, I think that was where I was before. So, you have the Gates Foundation now. It's not the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but the Gates Foundation will be doing their philanthropic administration of it, but also, you'll find how much Gates has stakes in vaccine production and technology, right?
Yeah.
So it's a continual market creation. This is just streamlining the process for them. What they will be receiving is almost like genomic sequencing level biological information on humans, plants, and animals from all over the world. Like, they're going to start pattern finding and trend picking and going, okay, well, we need to stop this over here. And this is the required spend from you as a member state. Also, we need this from you. We're going to give you this. It may be less, whatever. And it's just a management of all of those moving parts.
How much will we be giving from an Australian taxpayer point of view? Do you know?
I think there was an initial investment of 100 million. I think there's been another 100.
Fucking hell.
But the ongoing costs are in the millions for us to even just be pandemic prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does having a CDC in Australia, what benefits? Let's go devil's advocate.
Oh, I hate it when you do this.
I know, I'm sorry. But let's go. What benefits, or how are they framing it as a beneficial thing for Australia?
Well, I was watching there's a One Health director within the interim CDC, and she gave a presentation on what One Health would look like implemented in like a kind of policy level. But I didn't walk away from that with anything more than this is a way for us to operate on the 4 C's, which was it was the focus on the collaborative effort, and I've forgotten the other 3 because that's where we are. But yeah, it was the answer was a very, very vague one.
So there's no specific reason like that we need this to help benefit Australia's health going forward?
Only if you look at it as this holistic plant, animal, human ecosystem perspective, and only if you look at the possibility of zoonotic threats, because that's what they've identified is the biggest thing. In this woman's presentation, she was talking a lot about bird flu.
Yeah.
And prior to the CDC, thank you. Prior to the CDC establishing, because I think it's been online since the beginning of 2024, there wasn't a lot on there. There are a couple of things about COVID. There are a couple of things about Mpox. But then all of this literature started populating about bird flu, which I found was very strange because we didn't have a threat at the time.
Yeah.
But again, I hate to be like, it's just anecdotal because I'm a watcher in that way. But it when you notice these people and those organizations circling back, for lack of better phrasing, to the same topic over and over again, like the exercises, it becomes a little canary in the coal mine of, oh, that might be the one that they're focusing in on next. The other thing is that part of why climate change comes into it is they're looking at animal health from a food security perspective. So it becomes about our health in that regard as well.
Yeah, this Bovera thing is concerning. Are you across that?
Not super across it, other than I know what it is and I know which brands have said they're not using it, so I buy those ones.
Cool.
But
do you know which brands are saying they're not using it?
Bannister Downs came out and said that Bovea wouldn't be used in any of their dairy, strangely.
Bannister Downs?
Bannister Downs, yeah. That's the one that Gina Reinhardt owns.
Oh, I mean, fuck. This is like... Yeah, that's. But what are you meant to do? Like Jenny Reinhardt, one of the biggest mining, fucking tycoons going around, and definitely rorting Australia's future with the royalties. But they, provide something good there. Does it mean we turn away from that? Probably not.
Well, no, yeah, and it's so like Bovea, as in. Have you guys talked about it before?
Sort of. I should have touched on it more with fucking Anthony Chafee.
I would have been really interested to hear what he had to say about it. But essentially was an injection for cattle being used for food to, I guess beef or dairy, receive the injection so that there was less methane in their gas, when they farted, so that there was less methane being put into the atmosphere. But we don't know if it has any mutagenic or carcinogenic effects in humans and what that transfer of that will be.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the nature of
would that ironically be because they can't have zoological changeovers?
Well, no, but the thing is like with the bird flu stuff, you'll see the same thing. So it will become, a bird flu outbreak would mean that you will need to vaccinate humans for it because you don't want them to be getting bird flu, but you will also need to vaccinate your chickens.
Yeah.
It's the big scale agricultural farming. This is why I was trying to get the vegans on board with me, man.
Yeah.
It's like never could. That scale of agricultural farming is the exact condition where outbreaks like that do happen within, because they're dirty and they're close proximity and they don't have fresh air. And I was listening to one of RFK's pods from way back, and he was saying that like the use or the overuse of antibiotics, or like a subpar antibiotic, disrupted a chicken's microbiome so much that it didn't cause further damage or sickness, but it was just enough for it to get fat so that you're selling bigger chickens. And it's just a maximizing profit tactic.
Yeah. Did you
So it's like they're saying we have the solution to this problem, and really all they're doing is rebranding or they're just going like, it's like we are actually in a greater state of knowing on this subject of what does and does not cause disease in animals, how we can prevent it.
Well, that seems profit driven.
Yeah, like there's just this vague threat of outbreaks overhanging, and it's like, well, cool. So shut down all of the massive scale agricultural farms.
Yeah. Well, you can't shut that down. Big meat. Big ag.
But there's a solution to the problem that didn't cost this country hundreds of millions of dollars to be a part of. Like if there is a genuine threat that's been identified, if you can evidence those things, but they don't. They just stick to the threat aspect of it and go, this is how we need to manage it. And because there's no threat that exists anyway, it looks like it works. And I'll be very, very interested to see when this is enacted on the 1st of January, where those outbreaks are occurring.
Yeah. So you think so? This comes in on the 1st of January, or they take some sort of charge, or they're so
the CDC comes into effect as fully operational from the 1st of January 2026.
Okay.
I think we didn't talk too much about the Act today, but like I said, got a guide that we've created. So, I've done a lot of work with Stand Up Now Australia. And they've created this ebook that goes through the ACDC Act itself and how that came to be in Australia, and then also goes into the global framework and how it fits in with One Health.
Yeah. Well,
like step by step.
Did you want to talk on some of those points?
Yeah, I mean, I probably have to bring out my bloody book.
No, that's fine. Bring up your bloody book, because some of these things are very concerning, and I know sometimes people are like, well, you're assuming worst case, but if you present people with the facts and why things are coming up, how they're potentially going to be used, then people can make their own discernment, make their own choices on what they believe is right or wrong for them.
Sorry, I missed that last bit, Branchy.
Nothing. It's all good. Have you found your book?
I've got my book.
So where were we going to begin with this one?
Well, we don't even need to go too far into it. Is there anything that you feel like you want to know about it?
With regards to the Act?
Well, the Act itself, I mean, there's probably the causes for concern in the Act that flagged this as a project.
Yep.
I'll go through them. I've got a list.
Yeah, that's the causes for concern for this Australian CDC Act. Is that what it's called? The Australian for Disease.
Yeah, the Australian Centre for Disease Control Act.
Yeah. So the concerns. What are the concerns around the Australia Centre for Disease Control Act? So,
again, it tends to just formalise those that were put forward in terms of the IHRs. So one, the big one was Section 70, which was that the Director General of the Australian CDC has authorisation to take information that is required with really next to no oversight. The only clause in that section states that if the piece of information comes into a national security issue, then it's access denied.
Okay.
But everything else is fair game.
So my information's fine.
Your information's fine.
But
I don't know. Yeah. Do you have any matters of national security that you're currently embroiled in?
I cannot publicly disclose.
Everyone just kind of.
Yeah. Yep. So that is a concern.
That's a massive one. The other one is that the Director General is allowed to engage in partnerships with international organisations on our behalf, and that doesn't have any parliamentary oversight now that once they've been appointed.
Yeah.
That also is sending data and samples overseas. So one of the big concerns around the pandemic preparedness treaties was the lack of clarity around gain of function research, and if we are storing viruses and what's the safety there? And again, kind of jumping around the spot, but we touched on that earlier with it is the labs or the cases within labs that we are seeing these or seeing this outbreak spillover situation, because they are galvanizing,
Yeah. Yep.
And making sure that this pathogen is at optimum level, because they want to learn about it, but then, oh no, it got out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately that becomes a part of it too. And then it's just the level of general day-to-day surveillance that's required in all of those sectors.
Yeah. All of that is concerning. You could go at it from let's go best case scenario. It's all good. They've just got our best interests at heart. They're trying to make it a smooth operation. But if you've got this framework in place, And what if you're hoodwinked? What if you're hoodwinked by a potential leader that goes, oh, yeah, cool. Now I got you in 15, 20 years. We've seen dictators come in before in the past, not necessarily in Western world, but we've seen it happen. Why can't it happen again?
What did you say? Not necessarily in the Western world.
Well,
Western Europe, sure.
Well, okay. But it's not necessarily a common thing, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. Can't be leveraged against us. You're putting in a framework that can be abused.
Yeah. So centralization assumes incompetence. And unfortunately, this is the future that we have sitting before us.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you is there anything we can do about that?
I believe there's been, I don't.
Yeah, go to your book. Go to the book.
Go to the book. No, I'm actually going to the URL. Hold on one moment.
Oh, it's fine. We got nothing but time.
Because I want to make sure that I get the wording right. Well, because there is a parliamentary petition.
For what we can do to fight this.
That's up now.
So
it's putting in some oversights and safeguards. Sorry, I didn't want to go, is it a repeal or is it, because I believe there was some chatter about a repeal. But like.
That sounds good.
But there's also been chatter like in terms of the Online Safety Act and No Jab, No Plug. We've had that a lot of that this year. Like
that sounds like to me a far better way of doing this, because repealing it's probably going to fail. Whereas, hey, let's just make sure this cannot be leveraged and abused in future situations, and is going to be used in the best interest of people.
And that puts Australian health first.
Yeah.
Like the concern I think is probably the most mainstream is that if there's one person that's been appointed by our government with very limited oversight after the fact that they've been appointed, that they are allowed to engage in agreements, allowed to spend money in our best interest, but that's a lot of trust to put in one person, particularly when we talk about the Pandemic Preparedness Treaty. It's one person who can say, this is a pandemic level event.
Okay.
And that's the Director General of the World Health Organization.
So my concern of someone who would be scared of my rights to make medical choices myself being taken away from me would have a fear that this is something that could happen with this situation. Is that possible? Are they able to implement mandatory vaccinations?
Of course.
Really?
Yeah, at like if the WHO has made recommendations on how to deal with absolutely they can, and that's already enshrined in our Public Health Act.
And that's the scary thing, because they were making these recommendations, but they had no central power or authority to make these member states do that. But if they're a part of this now, does that mean they are held or bound by law to abide to their recommendations?
With the international health regulations, they are those amendments.
Yeah, so that scares me.
The problem with there's so many problems.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that you notice when you start, so it's like you see the ACDC Act or you see the digital ID legislation and you go, oh, that's like a tinfoil hat conspiracy, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're working around it, you go, something doesn't seem right here. You start researching it and you would be astounded at the amount of legislation that's being put in at a local and state level that underpins all of this.
Yeah.
Our West Australian Public Health Act has that beautiful, I think, what was it, page 112 or 120.
Yeah.
In that someone could come into your home under a state of emergency, and because if we're thrown into another pandemic, we're going to have areas or states of emergency, right? Come into your home, do whatever testing is required, submit to testing, have a vaccine. And if I was someone who didn't want that and I didn't want my child to have it, then a police officer or a nurse could act in my role while that procedure was being carried out. And that was perfectly legal. And that we have to be so specific that you can also remove underpants if required to do so. So that's been written with specificity and put into West Australian legislation. And it doesn't look like much when it stands alone in there. You go, that's a bit weird, but I guess it should be fine.
Why would you want to be able to pull someone's underwear down so you could put a jab in their bum?
Yeah, why would you want to be able to take my child away and pull my child's pants down? Why do you need that written in black and white? Seems a bit strange.
Yeah.
So that's where the specificity comes in. And then you have this Australian Centre of Disease Control, and this is the big shiny one that everyone looks at, and it's really broad and it doesn't look too damaging, but there are all of these other pieces of legislation. I've said legislation 1,000 times today, but they all exist there ready and waiting for that final puzzle piece to come in, and now we've got the framework.
So my fear now is if there's a framework that has been put in place, considering we are a member state of the World Health Organization's, is that what it is? We are just a member state of the world.
Yeah, of course.
So yes, my concern then is if we are
the states have refused. By the way, Bobby came out and said he's not signing on to the international health regulations.
Yeah.
Mark Butler said we're up for it, but whatever.
So my point. My biggest fear is that if there is a framework in place where we have to abide and we are bound to uphold to the World Health Organization's recommendations, and that will also be enforced by the Australian Centre of Disease Control Act, that my rights to choose not to take a medical intervention will be stripped away from me.
There is the potential if you are portrayed as a threat to public health under all of this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And considering how much they fucked up the last one. Admittedly, even the Australia's own inquiry into their pandemic handling,
which they use as the justification for this.
So because we fucked it up so bad, the World Health Organization, Australia only did what the World Health Organization recommended.
Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily. Because what they're saying is like, oh, well, that information came from several sources. Or like several bodies, and there was no cohesive strategy behind it, or like comparing notes before we went, this is the thing that we're doing.
So that's the justification for it.
Yeah. So there's the threat, and then we didn't do it so well last time.
Yeah, so
we need to be on the front foot now. And we can only be on the front foot if we do all of the work before the thing happens. So I need to get my advisory council together, and they can be of quite broad professional experience. Like there has to be some kind of overlap into public health, but that could be a pharmaceutical representative.
And wrap that up into a bow of these decisions are made by one director general that could be influenced by anyone. Really?
Yeah, and
which is a scary thought, and maybe you'd hope for the best that they would make the right decisions. But I don't trust one person making the right decision for the planet.
Do you know what the ACDC part of this conversation? And I'm really trying to go CDC because I love academic. Thunderstruck is that opening riff.
Yeah.
Is the heartbeat to this country.
Yeah, it's good.
Like that's where it's resonating. But I think the ACDC part of this conversation is maybe not a great conversation on its own, and I apologize to the audience for that. But I think it is a really good companion piece to those conversations we had with Gigi, that we had with Michael, and that we had with Katie, because we ripped apart those international health regulations from 3 different standpoints.
Yes.
And this is kind of now, ta-da, we have the document where it's mixed all together. So And also read the guide. It's incredibly important. People...
What guide?
I mean,
the guide, this
yes,
one?
yes, yeah. We'll
put that in the
I should say stand-ups guide, but...
We'll put that in the show notes.
Thank
a
you.
link to that. Is a link? Is it up online? Or?
It is up online on / or like shove it in a story so people can just save it to their phone. It's good to have as a reference.
Yeah.
I know we said... or like earlier, I was like, yeah, people need to look after their home and that kind of thing. Those processes can happen simultaneously. I say that because I'm currently doing them. I'm like trying to get my house and home in order, and I'm trying to engage in the best way that I can, but like not to my own detriment, I suppose. So it's really good to have a read on these things, but you don't have to emotionally invest in them either. You can just let it wash over you and go, I'm glad I know what they're doing. I'm going to have a think about how I'm going to interact with that or how I'm not.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Thank you very much, Chloe. That's my third podcast in 3 days. It's a long day. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Brain wasn't working so well today for me. That's just odd. But also, look, to be fair, I had a beer before I came here, so that's not great.
Look, I've had a couple of things like that happen recently where the words aren't coming or
it's been a long day.
it does feel like that, but also I think it's a really, really great opportunity to be like, maybe this is more of a period of introspection than
Go
outward
quiet.
work.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
At least on Substack.
Time to get quiet and focus on self again.
And get hard.
Mate, thank you so much for coming on again. And
thank you.
Maybe the next election we'll get you on again.
Oh yeah, well that's the cool part as well, is that the next couple of years are going to be, that we've got quite a few elections coming in the next couple of years. So who knows? We could actually just flip it all.
Well,
anyway.
I'm sure I'll see you at Gong or something shortly.
Yes.
Ish. Maybe
always around.
Maybe next week. Anyway, all right.
Uru.
Bye-bye. Uru.